Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's pre-match press conference with Dean. As usual, I see Nathan is already on the ball. Just to remind everyone, please, to put your request to ask a question on the chat panel, and we'll take it from there. Because there are very few of us, we've discovered that it's a lot easier for someone to ask, their full amount of questions. So if you have two, maximum three questions, please ask them, and then we'll take it, and then we'll go to the next person. We'll start with you, Nathan.
Thank you, Sporazi. Good day, Dean. I've got three questions. As Sporazi said, we may ask three questions. Dean, after the disappointing first test loss, could we perhaps see changes in the second test? I mean, there are some guys who are low on confidence and form.
You're talking about from a selection point of view?
Yeah.
It's a big possibility, no doubt. I think we have currently, we've got about 12 or 13 guys that can make up our starting 11. Obviously, conditions, weather play a part. I think, sure, there are guys who are a little bit low in confidence, especially from a bat point of view. I think it's very difficult to come in and try and make a play with the debutant, for instance, in the batting department. Again, those decisions will be finalized by the end of our training session now this afternoon. I'm pretty sure by the toss tomorrow, you guys will know pretty much what our makeup will be with regards to playing 11. But for now, we do have about 12 or 13 spots, players that can fulfill the 11 spots from a starting 11 point of view.
Let's stick to the point where you mentioned the batting department. Would you say the side not being able to score 300 plus is a concern?
It's not whether we can or can't. It's just we haven't done it on a consistent basis. I still believe that we are very much capable with fulfilling that role. We just haven't done it over the last few kind of innings or matches, which is something that is a bit of a head scratcher for myself. Has been a head scratcher for the coach, because we know the ability of the players that we have within our squad. I'm pretty sure they can answer this question from a personal basis, but from my capacity, it is a little bit frustrating and disappointing that we haven't fulfilled our ability. But yeah, saying that, guys are usually one knock away. It's professional cricket, and me knowing the level of this kind of intense international cricketing scene that we're playing, you're always that one knock away from being in good form again. I'm kind of banking on that theory going into this next game. Hopefully that theory can pay us off, and what's happened in the first test could be a thing of the past for us. Sure, starting a series like that is never great.
Last question.
All right, sure. Thanks, Borazi. Then, Dean, you guys have time to reflect after the first test. What objectives or standards will you guys be looking to set in the crucial second test?
Well, we've got to basically not replicate what we've done in the first test. I think it was extremely disappointing in all aspects that we just failed to arrive. Just our competitive nature wasn't there. Something that I know has been our strength over the last while. Just to have us blown out of the water within two and a half days of plays is pretty disappointing. But needless to say, it's things that we also have to get over. We've also worked on it and gone through it over the last few days in a group capacity, and guys know what is expected of each individual going into the second test.
Would like to go next? Thanks, Dennis.
Hi, Dean. I know you said last week, no excuses, and quarantine wasn't an excuse or anything like that. But Ashwell Prince said something interesting on a television program. He said when you go that side of the world, you basically, or they would thought that you basically need one day for every hour that you fly for your body to sort of adjust, and he mentioned that maybe that could have been a reason that you guys, because I mean the words were lacking of energy and intensity. So I was wondering if is that not an excuse, but was it like that you guys sort of were still in nighttime in your with your body clocks in the daytime, or if that makes sense, or was that not an issue at all?
I think it's a pretty relative question when it comes to maybe using that as an aspect. I'm definitely not going to sit here and use it as an aspect. I think individuals can answer that in their own capacity, because we're all different and unique in our own kind of makeup. But yeah, I don't know the scientific reasoning or resources that guys can use. For instance, when it comes to traveling this far, we all have come basically halfway around the world, and I would like to think that guys were pretty well recovered after the MIQ that we obviously had to fulfill. And yeah, it's a tough one, but again, I'm not qualified to answer those questions with regards to the scientific nature of that kind of question.
Did you feel tired still when the test started in the daytime?
I felt okay. Obviously, being a batsman, your workload is maybe a little bit less than being a bowler or rounder. But there's a lot of aspects that I have to deal with that maybe takes your mind into different places and makes you forget about the way you're actually feeling personally, because you have to look after so many different areas of captaincy as well. I actually felt okay, but I could feel by the third day I was a little bit drained. But I think that had to do with the playing as well. That everything that happened around the defeat is obviously took a bit of a toll from my capacity. But yeah, saying that, it's also part of the game, and you got to deal with these kind of things. But yeah, I think it's been a good learning curve for all of us so far being here. I think we've only had 2 or 3 players that's toured here before in the past. So our references that we had were quite limited with regards to from a player's point of view. So yeah, hopefully those learnings have been dealt with now, and we can move on, and hopefully none of those kind of things can raise their head in the second test.
Do you have a last question, Dennis?
Yeah, I'll go. When you travel with such a large squad, and also you guys had quite a big squad for the last few series, regardless where it was played. How do you as captain then make sure that every team member, even the guys that don't play, stay in a positive frame of mind?
Yeah, it's also another tough one. It's kind of those things that you have to deal with subconsciously. You just hopefully get by and kind of make sure that everyone's in the right space. I think you got to rely on your senior players as well to kind of help you out when it comes to that. I know it's not always possible to check in with everyone. Meanwhile, you're potentially supposed to be checking in with everyone, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. So there's a lot of aspects, your senior players, your coaching group that you have around you. They can always check in individually, see if everyone's in a good space. And if they're not, I kind of rely on the communication back to me and the feedback back to me to help me with regards to that. If someone's not in a good space, I know it's quite tough for guys that aren't playing or haven't been playing for a reasonable bit of time now. So I'm mindful of that. But it's also, again, I've got today to catch up with those players and obviously try and connect with them again.
Thank you, Spogazi. Good afternoon, Dean, and good morning from our side. I mean, there's been a lot of debate and conjecture about Aiden Markram, but as a captain, what do you say to him when you just put your hand around his shoulder, just tell him everything will be okay? Because you, as in your career, you would have seen many ups and downs of a players. You would have experienced your own ups and downs. What kind of conversations do you have with him, having seen what he's capable of, and also looking at what he's going through at the moment?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I don't have to speak to him anymore. I think I've had a lot of tough conversations with him around the nature of, but you need to score runs for us. And I think he kind of understands the situation that he's in at the moment, that his position is a little bit vulnerable at the moment within our batting lineup. But I'd like to think he's a lot cleverer than that as a player. I don't think you need to harp on too many things now with him. I think he knows he needs to contribute for us, and he's in a very important position, batting in the top order. We need guys firing. You can't carry a few spots within the batting lineup. It's okay to maybe carry one guy if he's out of form. You can carry that guy knowing that he's that one knock away from being back in form. But yeah, I've had a lot of good conversations with Aiden over the last few weeks. I kind of know the angle of attack with the approach that I use, or my technique that I use with him is something that definitely resonates with him in a big way. So yeah, I think the conversations have been had. Now I kind of need him to return the favors now as well.
Then my second question, Dean, you mentioned tough chats in your conversation. What kind of tough chats did you have with regard to the fielding? I mean, there was a general conversation that the energies were low, and then often seen in the fielding. And I mean, Henry Nichols, for example, was dropped twice on his way to 100. So with how tough were those chats with regards to the catching and fielding?
Look, at the end of the day, it's not good enough. Guys know that. We're playing at a level that's the toughest that we can experience from an individual playing point of view. But bottom of the line is it's just not simply good enough for us. If we want to compete, win, and become potentially world number one again, those kind of things you can't leave to chance. You need to take them when they come your way. You're playing against a good side like New Zealand, the batters will make you pay. Same, I would like to think the same is with us. You give us a chance and we're going to make you pay as well. But yeah, I think our coaches in their own respective capacities within our squad have had chats to individuals. And yeah, we know it's just simply not good enough for us to compete and win.
And second, lastly, Dean, how different are New Zealand now as compared to the New Zealand side you faced on the 2017 tour as one of the more experienced players?
Oh, making me think long now. Think back in my career. I'd like to think they're a lot more experienced from a skill point of view. I think they've tasted a lot of success of late, and I think they're extremely hungry for that success. They want that success to continue. Bearing in mind that they had quite a lean patch with regards to success in the past few years. They're definitely making a count now, and you can almost see that they don't want to let go of that taste and that feeling of being one of the best sides in the world. Yeah, I guess with a lot of success comes that hunger and desire and the pride in your performance. So I'd like to think that that's what makes them an extremely gifted and talented side now. They're not willing to give you an inch.
And last one, offbeat but cricket question. What do you make of Dewald Brevis? You may be playing first-class cricket with him at some point later this year.
I might. But yeah, he's a very good, talented player. Trust me, he can play well. He's obviously done it now in the under 19 level. But in saying that, I think I've only worked with him once within the Titans setup. He hasn't been around for too many sessions because he was busy with his matric finals. But yeah, one for the future, no doubt. But again, he's got to perform at the professional level, which is another step up for him. But I'm pretty sure he's more than capable of adapting into those kind of roles once his turn comes around.
Masatsi, we have to wrap up, gents. So you'll get your questions.
Good afternoon, good morning to everyone. Just one from me, Skipper. What's the situation with Lungi? Is he fit and is he likely to play in this match?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think Lungi is fit to play. He's obviously sustained a bit of a back issue. And because he hasn't been able to bowl the last week, I don't think his bowling loads are up to the standard of preparing for test matches. That's just from my personal side. I haven't heard too much from the medical staff, but yeah, he hasn't been training with us. He's only been bowling off a short run up, which has been a bit of a setback for us. We know Lungi's been a key figure within our bowling lineup. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing that he's in the situation that he is now.
Just to also add to that, Lungi he is ruled out of this second test match. As Dina said, he hasn't put in enough workloads for him to be able to take part in the second match. He will continue doing his rehab. He's still in the beginning stages of his rehab in regards to that back strain, and the timings are looking at that the medical team are looking at is around two weeks from when he was diagnosed, which was about a week ago. So he still has about a week to go with rehab before he can start bowling at a full run up again. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll chat to you tomorrow.